Hello, my name's Nicholas Harris. In this video today, I'm going to talk about how unresolved wounds from the past come up in our relationships, particularly our intimate relationships, of course. You see, all of us have a certain emotional structure of our lives. We were all brought up in families of origin by parents who were doing their best to look after us and keep us safe. But the truth is that our parents had their own emotional challenges. As children, we learn and we imprint certain patterns. We actually unconsciously copy our parents, and we copy both the positive and also the negative qualities of our parents as well. We, of course, have our own unique dynamics of our relationships with our father and with our mother. And a lot of these patterns and a lot of these dynamics actually become transposed onto our partners as well. The wounds that we feel from the past, the unresolved traumas, will often come up in the context of our relationships. If as a child, for example, I felt abandoned by my mother, then I might find myself experiencing the feeling of abandonment coming up in different ways in my adult relationships. Perhaps when my partner does not want to be intimate with me, I find myself feeling abandoned. Perhaps when my partner wants to spend time outside of the relationship with friends, I find myself feeling abandoned. So a lot of the feelings that we feel in our relationships, a lot of the personal challenges, they relate to the unresolved emotional content which we've experienced from the past. And that goes back to childhood, and it also, of course, goes back to previous relationships that might not be resolved as well. It's very important in our relationships to understand a few core things. The first of those concepts is that everybody wants love. Everybody wants to feel accepted exactly as they are. A core wound, which I would say most of us have, is the feeling of somehow not being good enough, right? Like the feeling that somehow we're not quite good enough and we have to do something in order to get this external validation. That actually goes all of the way back to desiring validation and acceptance from our parents, something which all children desire when they're young. So everybody wants to feel loved. To be loved is to be accepted. To be accepted exactly as you are, and to be accepted exactly for who you are, as you are. Nobody wants the feeling that they need to change, particularly in the intimate kind of realm of vulnerability of relationships. When you understand this, you see how this relates to the second core pattern, the second core thing which we need to have a look at in relationships. So this I would like to introduce as being a hypothesis. The hypothesis is very simple. All of our emotions are our own. When you understand that all of your emotions are yours, that the feelings you feel right now are not being created by the behavior of a partner outside of you, then you will stop trying to change your partner. If you experience abandonment, for example, going back to my abandonment example, and you perceive that your abandonment is caused by your partner's behavior, you're going to try to change that person so that you feel better. You're going to look for change in your partner in order to change your emotional state. And of course, when you try to change your partner in order to try to change your emotional state, what you are doing is you're trying to change them, which is going to trigger that first core wound I was talking about before, not being accepted exactly as you are. Everybody wants to feel safe. Everybody wants to feel loved. Everybody wants to feel this sense of loving embrace, this ability to be safe and loved so you can grow. So we need to, in our relationships, to actually kind of create a field of intention, because relationship is about how we relate over the movement of time? How do we relate in all of these different parts in our life? And what does this relationship itself mean for us? If we don't set this core intention in our relationships and step from unconscious relationships, which are often copying the patterns and the rules of your parents and your culture, if we don't step from the unconscious relationships to the conscious relationships where we decide together as partners, what do we choose to create together? How do we choose to grow together? Well, if we don't do that, then we stay in the realm of unconscious relationships where we experience all of the unresolved wounds from the past arising inside of us, seemingly triggered by the relationship, and we get into the loop of trying to make our partners change. Each partner experiences their own unresolved content from the past coming up in their relationship. Each partner experiences their own unresolved trauma coming up in the relationship and begins to blame the other partner for it. And we end up in this kind of control drama, power struggle that I'm sure that every single person watching this video has experienced. And this is very much the cost of not embracing the core hypothesis that all of our emotional wounds, all of our feelings are actually ours. In my work, I teach my clients that every moment of feeling is actually an opportunity for healing. And this is so incredibly important to understand. Every moment of feeling is an opportunity for healing. So every moment when an old wound is activated inside of you in your relationship, it's actually an opportunity to be able to process that feeling and to heal it. When we use our relationships as a possibility to become aware of these core wounds, to bring those wounds to awareness, when we own our emotions and when we share them from a place of ownership and permission as well, then all of those difficult feelings, they can actually grow vulnerability and connection in our relationships. Our emotional pain, when it's handled properly, can actually become fuel through which we're able to strengthen our connection with our partners, and we're able to take our relationships to deeper and more authentic and valuable levels of emotional connection. And all of the other levels of connection follow that, of course, as well. So, thank you for watching this video. I'd like you just to become aware of the wounds, the emotional patterns, the difficult feelings that come up in your relationships. And when you become aware of those difficult feelings and how they come up in your relationships, just to ask yourself, when have I felt these feelings before? When did I feel these feelings in my past relationships? When did I feel these feelings in my childhood? When's the very first time I can remember feeling these feelings? Are these feelings mine, or are these even feelings which I've inherited, which I've imprinted from a parent? Something I'll talk about in a future video. So thank you very much for watching this video. My name's Nicholas Harris. I'm a hypnotherapist, and I run free monthly webinars and also have a range of online courses. If you'd like to join one of my webinars, then please click on the link below. Thank you very much.